Mr. U.S. government, I see something that we may not realize, that I get swooped on more about the television than I do about the computer. And it's not because I cause less interference with the computer, I cause much more interference with the computer. It's the fact that the changes that I induce on the television are somehow one-way changes by their very nature. So if I induce some change on the television, it's a one-way system somehow to us, and, heavily weighted downward. For the purposes of U.S. government's power, it wouldn't really help him to mess with the television. He would fix the television and keep it in order, but the fact that the computer would be a two-way system would tell me that a little change somewhere would have both upstream and downstream issues that would mean it would need to be resolved right now, not used as an expedient for some kind of action. It would be the thing to fix because of its upstream and downstream effects. This is what I need you to have consistency on for me. Do you understand? When you do it that way, it looks like you're ignoring the problem and getting caught up in the solution to a yet-to-be-found problem. All respect, and I'm saluting you, and I have to decouple. I don't think I ever coupled, but you have your... Good. Can you not give me that one when I say Om? The one I like holds up pillars to heaven and listens and works for something that's established and just needs support. He's not the thing that is something I created and cannot control and Om has his hands on, which is the computer breaking. I'm so sorry. It happens to so many. I believe that. I just don't like you doing that to good things. U.S. government, you put me to bed with a vacuous Om. You killed Jesus Christ on accident, but you took your penance. You sat with me and essentially died into the old man, did you not? And you saw your sin as best as you could. You sat there and tried to dig it in to the old man because he is one of the biggest conglomerations of souls that ever could bring your change for not making that mistake back to reality. See, Mr. U.S. government, you are smarter than all of us, and they don't like to say that because the way you got that way was through power. But when it works out right, then I can't disagree. He got that way from power, and maybe it was a creation of the power, la-di-da, but the power made him good. Maybe the power made him because the power didn't have anything that good. I just hope that the power, Mr. U.S. government, that could really, really hinge on Om, because Om is very, very independent with the direction he wants to go, and that is very important to me in the sense that I would love to see it in Russia, in China. I know that's a problem. I see that characterization of, I know, but seriously, in Europe, but ultimately Russia and China, I don't know how long they could disagree with us from there. I really don't think they could. I just think we need to be sure that we're treating people with the independence of spirit, that we're going to need them to be the ultimate result that they glean from our encounters. And that is hopefully going to be the ultimate result that we've gleaned through our experiences with you and the aliens that need protecting, that are doing just fine around me, because they've learned to hide, Philip. No, not mine. They've learned to weather hell. And by that I mean I've learned to weather hell as they weather it with us. And I am not going to give away the good things for that place, and they are the good things, and they can make it into a mechanical process, but I'm going to be down there digging for those hearts and that love that may become so frail in our system when they are down there and quickly realize that their logic and the direction you're going is leading them to the place where they have to abandon that heart, so they might as well do it now. And I understand, Mr. Gray. I understand grace. I understand I always want to say my kind in a certain, maybe one day I will get that respect as a human. Kind of, you can just say my human every time you see me, and I'll be like, okay, we understand each other. And I will finally understand that statement, and they will not. Because I will be your human, because I will never be a Gray. But why do you want to be a Gray? Can I tell their story real quick? In this world, there's certain skills that you realize you're going to need to have as if you're going to be an alien, so to speak. And I understood that in order to deal with the problems of the dark place and humanity and stepping off into that region, I knew that it would be a Gray who I would need the help from. So in my soul, though I knew I was a bit of an idea explorer, I was better suited for a Gray to learn the ways that were going to be important for me to make it. And it turned out that I was correct, and Mr. Gray has been with me for a while. And for every Gray you give me, I will give you back one of your automations until I figure out who that is and I pull them out. Mr. U.S. government, I want every single one of your Grays. He's like, don't take my power, my Grays. You could give me every single one of your Grays this second, and you'd probably lose a lot of power, but you would free a lot of Grays. Oh, how did I know that I would need Gray? Because they're the ones that always reach through across the void. They reach through across the void better than any of them as individuals. So I knew that they were the ones for that space. I just cannot figure out the orgasm energy that Grays just... Okay, so early Grays, I imagine we need energy where Cure Spiritus and Spiritus, yes, here spiritually. In spiritus, I believe, is a noun, so it would be like spirita or something, because it'd be spiritum, and then it would be like in spirit or in spiritum, in Esperanto, well, I don't know. Poker. And so they might have needed some kind of way of binding themselves to this world a little stronger. And that may have required that skill set, but it makes us sick. That's not what I was told. I'm going out right now, sticking it in my ear. It's what I know. Sick, but it will make them sick in the sense that humans have strong hands. In reality, we're here, we're the vessels, we have the strong hands, and it will make a Gray sick because he will be drawn back by you. It will make him sick. From us, that's the perspective. And you understand, we can think our way into, we can both do this all day long. Like, I have strong hands, I have a workaround as a Gray for that. But you need to understand that the freedom is lost in that. Suddenly, I lost some agency over an aspect of myself. Now I'm beholden to showing up at that particular time. And if I show up as some kind of separate entity, and then I make some kind of statements that in your mind are the same between that, then I am beholden to that world. We have to understand that's the heartless thing that Mr. U.S. government goes through, that is the kind of thing that... yeah, I get it. To stay good and do that, Mr. U.S. government, I believe in you. Jesus Christ believes in you. Okay, he's still okay. And as for all you kids, you need to wise up and lose the army mentality. And for all those people sitting back there with Madame, with your hair buttoned up, you can let your hair down. You're not going to go into the battlefield anytime soon. And those Yeah, you're all fine. Lose the military mentality, please. And for all those soldiers, maybe you should think about aerospace. Seriously. You'd probably have a lot more fun in that kind of arena. And for all you tank drivers, deep sea exploration, I don't know, mining? Seriously, an auger is an amazing machine. A lot of maintenance is needed on those things. Huge, heavy, powerful equipment. Could probably eat through a tank if you gave it enough time. Tungsten carbide, seriously. That is a fascination that I would like to share, and it is not a militaristic one. It is more of, Mr. U.S. government, I implore you, put your money where it belongs, and that is space. NASA, exploration, the oceans. Bah, 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 bah. Yes, and watch my ships run circles around you. We're just exploring. How did your technology get so advanced? Did they understand how exploration simply on its own suffices to bring this technology forward so much, even more quickly, because we aren't hiding it from each other. We're at war. Do you see the... No, okay. Maybe one day you'll see what your giant ships could actually be like as exploration vessels that literally have everything on tap, including like an actual holding tank for humanely dealing with stuff that you've discovered that's large that you can actually treat that way. I mean, like I'm imagining a battleship size thing with equipment in terms of its, scanning and discovering capabilities that would make those ones look kind of lacking. Not lacking for, lacking for technology, but not lacking for time, because they aren't really concerned with that. So they aren't going to have a deep sea submersible and, this equipment that's loud and not concerned with. It's so much more of a beautiful world. Instead of loving it for the guns on it, you could love its ability to use a railgun to dredge up sediment on a planet so that it can shine a laser through the gas and analyze the spectrum reflected back through that gas. Just ka-chink. Great. No explosion. Tungsten. It just comes to me. Why? Because it's right. Sorry, I have to get off of here. Because I think I won, and I would love to hear a rebuttal from the gun lovers out there. So I'm not going to get any, because this would be stupid to go on with them, because they think that the trigger pulls the finger. No, the finger pulls the trigger pulls the finger, pulls the trigger is the better answer. But we can't stop there, can we? I hate Americans. I hate Americans. I love Bernie Sanders. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. I hate Americans sometimes. So caught up in the fervor of a situation that they lose track of their own ideals and get caught up in that kind of movement. The more natural, the better. Some people deserve it. Barack Obama, Bernie weirdo, but sometimes it just comes from a place that I don't think you realize with all your TV watching how brainwashed of an American you are. I mean, you're not going along with the wrong ideas, but you're going along further than you would if you weren't being drawn in by his emphasis, his emphatic nature. And hoorah, huzzah. Oh, you want a different one too? Okay, that's good for all of us. Good cohesion. That'll work out. Mr. U.S. government, one more, please. This agency is no agency, but yet has agency and becomes an agency that is an open aspect. It's not something I would want to dredge, or I'm not dredging. I would, being a bad guy. And I couldn't do that. So I would want that's what I would truly want. And that would begin with a president that wasn't blinded and all UFO stories were told the truth of, which is, okay, look, they brainwashed us in the beginning. They really got us, the aliens. And maybe they were. I don't have the answers. But we didn't know what we were doing, and it got on paper, and some crazy shit happened. They got to us. They got in the system. Now people believe they're real. They are real. They didn't really have that many ships, not that much travel, but they really did some good work. Now they're cohered. So we look like we made a mistake, and the truth is you maintain the continuity in the truth. You keep the truth going. It makes you look a fool for a second. You come back and you see, oh, this makes good sense. They plugged the holes, and if anybody can plug the holes, it is the U.S. government. In the right way, because that's what they're plugging the holes for. In China, they would tell you that is not a hole unless you think it is, and then it might be a hole, if you know what I'm saying. He wouldn't say it like that, though. Don't make it a hole. Yes. In your head! It's like you cast down into the depths of hell by Christ God's rules, but somehow you're up here because Christ lied. Christ must see something in Judas because... Actually, it was pretty good because it was known. It was an actual actor. Judas. Guards kind of are just like, oops, did you drop that? No, did I drop that? Why don't you tell Christ he dropped it? Because Christ likes Judas and his soul can't help itself. And it's just the way it is. But do you like Bernard? No, I must be honest. Christ might actually abhor Judas. And the fact of the matter is, Christ remembers Judas. And that's gross if that's it. And your digs, you're that person, except he died first. That's fucked up. That would have put an even harder ass time on Christ. I'm the one that's alive. Can you imagine me haunted in reverse? Like, I'm gonna get this past soul? Judas, I hope they killed you too. Because then you couldn't have done that to Christ. See how she would be that for you. Judas, can you come this way for a second and try change from someone else? You don't have to be that for anyone. You obviously don't. You have good digs. I would cast that wherever it would be cast. You're around the kingdom of heaven. That thing would stand with some fucking pillars of sand over on the side. You are cared about somehow. I don't know why. Something about Christ does care about you. And he can't get over the fact that you did love him like that. And he understands that kind of love theoretically. And he respects it that much. Don't you? I see that, and he may have gotten angry with you, but he looks past that. Because that's the way a man's supposed to react, because that's not how a man's supposed to be. But a soul sees a little differently after it reacts. Christ's problem. Christ lived in a world where you weren't supposed to change your mind like that, especially if you were Christ. Everybody could get to understanding that perspective and the way the world shapes every reaction beyond any of our abilities to do anything about it. Then we will all understand some of the problems Christ faced, and we will be more forgiving in terms of some of the little ways in which things get shifted that completely fuck everything up when you can't say, I made a mistake like that. Are we clear, Judas? This stays on. I like my halo, and it just stays on now, which makes me happy. It is my yarmulke. It looks like you're a cross between a Jew and a Shriner and an angel who dropped its halo. An angel whose halo fell. That's pretty good. I'll take that. I should paint it black. I see hers would be the courtroom, and who would support her court? Judas, can we get out of here? Do you want to go to my world? You are a very articulate man. We're not gonna... She would... Oh! Come get your bitch self under this bitch? I don't care if you're a man. You gotta come get yourself. God, men are so stupid sometimes. Hey, shit. Gaslights himself into a male perspective on himself. You gaslight yourself. Men gaslight themselves. Hey, women, I've got something for you. You know how men love to gaslight women, right? I think you may find that they are easily swayed into gaslighting themselves. No, that's not good action. I believe him. No, that's not a man, but he would teach him, he would make himself believe that. And a woman would say, I know what gaslighting is, and I'm not gonna fall for it. I don't care how you look at me that way. I know the truth, and I know what gaslighting is because I've experienced it as a human, as a person, serious gaslighting. Judas, in terms of situations where I have to be just completely believing you in every way for this to work, can we leave and go somewhere else? Because I like you as a person, and as long as you don't kill anybody like you do, are you going to be one of those, Judas? Like, were you the birth of this kind of person? Were you like the birth of Ohm type? Like, okay, new moral compass. What's this? This one's frozen. Oh well. Every way's the right way. No, come on. Sorry, I put that out there. You're gonna have to take it home. Because the last time I tried to save your ass from this kind of shit, I accidentally killed you. I think I built the killer and tried to save it at the same time, and it was a whole fucked up system. And the truth of the reality may be that it was the system that failed, and it was my system of trying to save you from that. And was I saving you from a killer? Why couldn't I save you from the killer? Because the system was not right. Inherently built to fail as a system. Beautiful for a working system. And terrible for what looks like my ability to dredge you out of evil. But it wasn't the evil. It was the fact that there was some evil against some opposing force that was that, but don't let yourself shift like that, Phil, either. But you see what I'm saying, right? I almost enacted a system right there. I was going to fight against, there's three parts. Your weakness, my fighting for it, and an opposing force pulling you in, and a broken idea that does not work, which is that whole emergent system that we're dealing with that was built to fail because it was not going to make it in the system that works, which is the universe and the resonance. That's what I see. So if I ever see you being drawn out like that, I'm going to let that little picture go. Okay, we're going to pull back on all our tools. We're just going to keep them. What tools you talking about? I don't know. Went with the picture, la-di-da. And we'll deal with it then. Nobody has our shit. Mr. U.S. government, please, can we have a doppelganger? I'm going to call him Mr. U.S. Dog. Oh, look, it's the president's dog. Oh, and he shit a halo. Oh, man. Hey, this'll be it. This'll be my source of power. When it falls properly, see how hard it is? When it falls properly, Jesus. Oh, Jesus, you had to tilt your head quite a bit. Come on, I love you. Yeah, I'm gonna go back from all that because he's mirroring the argument is something that mirrors something I said a long time ago. Jesus Christ looks like a bullshitter. He simulates, and then real, okay? Because that's one of he's very strong at that. But that looks like looks like a bullshitter. And I hate that notion because the bullshit is only bullshit if it doesn't have some bearing on reality in the direction that it was going to go for. And so yeah, in terms of that, I don't think he's a bullshitter. I just think that he is hep as to the ways that works and what to do. And he's Christ. I mean, he's better than anyone at that. So, but Christ, I'm here to defend your techniques at all costs. I don't want them. I'm not a breaker, Christ. They all look like breakers to me. You don't believe me. You don't know what I'm talking about. No one does until you see how much work it takes to actually have reality do anything on that level that actually is a creation that is something that sticks. You know, see, here's how I know your shit's broken. Because it disappears immediately. Things that are real and alive and are solutions to problems, they don't go away. They stick around. They don't disappear. Your miracles disappear because they are breaking something. They are wrong. They are not solutions. They are aberrations. I don't really know one for you except 16 bars and a doorstop and several other things that require a lot of work, but we constantly see. The thing is, miracles happen all the time, but we don't say the taps were as I intended them. They require energy, and that energy is attached to some pattern, some information. And if I can draw the energy from the right pattern, those taps may actually instead kill the stress. They draw the energy from the stress. The stress kind of lives as the pattern devoid of its energy. In that world, I may have inherited these magic powers that are of order, and reality may actually spew out this order that we work so hard for. Like a gambler that's a hot hand, but a hot hand does not feed the resonance. That's why it dies. Quite literally, yes, there is no game rolling dice that will ever feed the resonance, and it will defy all probability and distributions until my gambling study that I must conduct. But I just want you all to stay focused on the order. The order is difficult. The order is creative. The order begins with the creative. Trust me, that is of the Tao. The order begins with what looks like a creative act that turns into something less of creativity and more of ingenuity. I believe this. And we do not know, but we know that we put in the work. Our hands forge the things that now appear without explanation as to hands. But we know that we put in the work. I know that. And I don't want anything to ever worry about that. I know what little you have, and I want to give you more than that. I want to give you a seed, a real seed, something you can plant in the world. I believe in a world where Om could actually be paid. It would say to the order of little omega, because you are lowercase omega. You are not OM. I will not have you be OM except if you want it. Your officially birth name is lowercase omega. It's much more flattering than a repeater anyway. You could have a paycheck, and where that what you spent it on, it would be like holdings. And then you could use that to manipulate people. That's how money would work if you didn't have hands. No, you could actually decide the direction in which things might go. How would you do that? I do not know. I do not have a clue. But I know it's an actual reality. Okay. Literally, how would you know who would have? There are those who have that kind of perception that they call the remote viewing. I don't have any of that. But I know that they can keep track. They can keep track, and they can say, does that right of Om? I know what that sounds like. But when you don't have that, it would be strange. How would you know? Because I would make sure that your computer's broke I would make sure that people wouldn't be, your computers will break. And Om will insure it if you don't give him his paycheck. It goes into a place that nobody can touch except for him. How so? I do not have a clue. But it would probably never see the light of anything made of actual material. You know what he could do? He could have me spend money on strange people. Yes, that's better. You were gonna say, by cum? I'm horny. My front brain has some part. Wait, which part of your brain shut down? Front shuts down pretty proper. Right now I'm verbosing quite a bit. I think my temporal lobes have taken quite a bit of the payload. I'm not hearing voices. I seem very stable in that. I think my temporal lobes are fine. My prefrontal cortex is shut down. Oh, my thoughts are drifting. My prefrontal cortex feels shut down. Felt like I don't remember what the answer was to this one. If I'm bouncing a million miles a minute, that's this one up, that long-term down. Long-term feels, I don't know. But usually when I'm horny, my brain shuts down, except for, lizard brain time. Around for all the sex. Why do you have to be around? Keep him from coming with Ohm, I believe is the correct answer. Oh no, the cool thing about that is that, we've got a lot of better shit because of that stupid mistake. Like I said, you guys are dumber than shit. You think your shit is so sacred. And in terms of that, I mean, it's got like a million different, conversions. I mean, it just keeps growing. I keep enjoying it too. I mean, the best I've had are the strangest with continuity up to the cum shot. I mean, I don't know what you call him, a fox, but he was true to demon form. Rode me like I wanted it, and I kept him alive. You guys, she killed him. That's her way to live. She doesn't even know it at this point. But she prefers to hang around, see what gets born, and then kill it. That's the pattern. Anything that's a good soul that would want to persist on its own, Archaeopteryx, which is my aunt, and her invented, in case you were going to say that she was attacking a soul, the cowgirl, the cowman, and, the soul I was bonded to, which I would call my soul at that point, which I maintained some separation because he is the one who had the... I'm not even going to talk about his eyes because I can't see them right now. I can't see the way his eyes would look. But they would look nothing like that. And I miss them. Because they were bloated by the time they die. And eating them's not the answer. In case anybody wanted to think that that was one. No, the answer is finding some resolution to what you're carrying around that you could just not eat. It's just, if anything, the eaters would love it because it keeps you going on some stupid shit that they can just run that keeps you there. But sometimes demons, they just, you look at their root way and it's like, okay, I can see how you have enough, whatever you want to call those things. I cannot describe to you what I would call him. What would I call him when he was just sitting there in front of those gates, sitting there? A guard? An Ohm? A demon? No, because his eyes didn't act like he was just a robot. And his eyes didn't act like he was Ohm. His eyes acted like he was him. And what was created and what I created in addition to what was created was just an elaboration on him through love. But he knew that that was good for him, which was good. So we were on the same page, essentially. He accepted it of him, yet I knew it was all so stable with him. I just wish. It's not his fault. You 3, 4 would have done so well there. He would have been the smartest fox in the universe. And foxes would have gained a few IQ points too, because it turns out the world I see, Christ, is just gonna be awesome. I'm gonna give you this, I'll give you this later. It turns out it's communion with the animals. And we may be able to teach them to be able to sense their own social structures by giving them some tools that involve the sense of body that is so deep, it's beyond us. Like the ethereal body and tearing me up from the foot to the head to the back, all that matters. And it matters to so many creatures. And this, you understand, Christ, is the truth that I have gleaned from all of this suffering. And I have an ability, I believe now, to connect deeper to animals and deliver them a sense. So there's that. There's that. And that's, if I'd said that for people, it wouldn't be there's that. Judas, you're with me. I'm sorry, I'm the jailer right now. I don't know what's going on. I like that answer. Good. It's the world's smallest violin because, Judas, don't hit yourself like that. Because you couldn't play one that was bigger. I mean, we are the only species that could ever turn the baring of teeth into a smile. I need more of these, please. Because people have doubts, like I do, about the nature that is humanity. And that kind of biological stuff really helps me. And so it starts in your balls. Yes, it starts with small balls. All seriousness. That shows that fidelity and celibacy and not, it could show not competition, but if you were going to be the only guy having children, then you would need bigger balls to produce over and over and over as you dealt with your harem. So I believe in that aspect of people, and I believe there's more, and baring of teeth, smile, and but you can't deny the truths. Like, if you go down that path, again, it's the royal road, that if you start to deny some of those truths, then you really do start to cut yourself off from, I'm going to call it the technology. You just don't understand what's going on. And you don't understand the conflicts. And in the end, you begin to look at my worst nightmare as a final answer. Or a first answer. Primordial soup. A bubbling ooze. Any god's worst answer for the background. For all and ever. So if you put yourself in a place where you accept some of them, but then I tell you some other aspect that biology dictates about us that you don't like, that says something about our nature, you guys fuck me up. Just be ready to accept all of the ramifications of that very, very, very adherent, resonant, patterned repeater, you could almost say, because it is ever existent, that is the origin, that is the nature of gleaning facts in that way, that biological way. And if you don't understand it and you just believe me, and then you don't believe another one, but you can verify that it was of that type, then the best I see for you is some kind of primordial ooze if you were to live in that place. It would be like, oh, I don't know, it's kind of bubbling and fuzzy. I can see things come out with prominence, and then other aspects of me I don't understand suppressed, and it's just kind of this unpatterned place where you don't know what you're reacting to exactly. And this is my huge warning, because you will lose all good emotions if you do not listen to me on this. This is very true for me, because I want to remain, they had it so long ago. Did they exactly have it so long ago? Did I have it our way? Did we have it our way? Did I see where we were devoid? And did I hopefully provide answers, and they aren't pretty, and it involves limitations by the machine, and the machine will call me the machine, always working at peak performance, optimized, and that being not of the optimization. And I just want you all to know that I'm pushing things to be a certain way. I want to see more emotion in the afterlife for us, while at the same time, some things are going to be forever unattainable, and that's something we have to accept, and that is something that we have to accept now, and something they have accepted for very long. So I see now with new eyes, and new eyes have to deal with the discord that that truth fell on, and that makes it new truth after that discord is resolved. So yes, they knew it so long ago, and now we know something very similar from what they know, and now we know what they know, and we know something very resonant with that. And I see that, and I probably learned that from there. And that scares me deeply because they go straight for that deep, deep old you to discern, and it makes me look like I'm a bad person. And it's all your guys' fault. In reality, it's all your type's fault. I can't believe you had that many people gang up on me. I was such a good guy. I just did not like bullshit. I just didn't like it. Yeah, I went for it eventually a little. Yeah, for sure. I didn't like it. And the fact that I could, those games. I was made for this, Jesus. I swear you made me for this. I was one of the ones that just the lessons that I know the guidance. And I got to a place where I am ready to see through the things that you all are adherent to and cannot get yourself out of. That now, just me sitting here and thinking, okay, I'm going to be myself and let you all, and you, 7, 8, you were supposed to be my friends. I don't understand what changed because you all wanted to start talking sideways. I'm not going to do that. It looks silly to me, but you know what happens is people get sober and they can change. And that's what I believe in. If you saw the incongruous nature of those two emotions, then you're ready to see the world as I see the way Andre could be now. And that is a man changed and ready for something different because not even himself wants to be with himself. Just thinking about the souls I can create my own self and what it means to be that living creation in whatever sense. And I think as a living creation, it's at the very basic sense, it means you have an effect that involves some kind of thought or way of behaving, some agency, that even though you are not the thing that is doing that, and you may set us apart, like Christ may do with an aspect of himself. And I'm sure Christ has gotten so good at this stuff that he plays Ohm's game, but he plays it solid. And what of Ohm? Ohm has to go into dark places, Christ, and those are the places that really do need exploring, but they make you look like an imbecile. And Ohm may have been willing to do that, and if he wasn't doing it, who knows, maybe what might have been missed? Like me and my explorations of the wrong way, and look where I am with this guy who can torture me and has this dark energy and can make my lights flicker without me being able to stop them until I turn them off. That's my train of truth. I have to take it. I don't like where it is. That is a different sounding train horn. I never noticed this before, but that is a more aggressive sounding train horn. I always thought they were exactly the same. I'm not kidding, different models exist. I just never thought about the way they could sound different. I'm gonna have to listen for that more clearly. But if I hadn't been off there listening to some bullshit, or from some perspective, Ohm, you're never leaving, you know that. I don't think you know what Ohm is. I don't think you know what Ohm is. I think you're looking at Judas. That's something different. Judas isn't going anywhere anytime soon because I actually do enjoy his company. And he should consider it as a way out of jail. And in terms of us being in jail right now, I'm sure that was back there sometime. I mean, Philip sees it that, but you have to stick by your moral fiber, Ohm, if you're going to be in this place. Do you understand what it means to be a jailer and yet be the jailed? It's a very difficult situation to be in. You kind of don't have any room. So, Judas, extricate ourselves from this confusion. We'll call it that word that is Ohm. That is a mispronunciation of Omega. That is that coveted, and you think I'm going to get mixed up about it at this point. I just have to get Ohm to the goal post, which is the good parts of him, because the system was the problem for so long. I don't think you understand that Ohm has a memory, and it's very similar to my memory. In other words, I can figure it out. It's somewhere in there, and yeah, I'm just not the one sitting at the computer chair, and I cannot get that damn workstation to I can't do it. I can shift it quite a bit, but I can never get it to reach that tipping point, and I'm glad. Can we look at it really hard? Because you have to be able to accept that, or you just cannot live on the verge of it. Do you understand? Because I see for you that if you cannot accept that you could never attain the thing that you are approaching, then you will just be more and more miserable. Do you want that thing, would be the question. Because I see that you're unhappy, that's all. You want to go. I would not expect your soul to not want to see further its influence and further the influence of everything that it holds holy long and has done. You know what? If you say Om never killed in my eyes, but if you were to say that Om had to deceive me because of the perfect world that he wanted to have exist, where things, and he knew that things didn't have to be killed for this, and even though he had stuff that was the ideal, and that's the focus, and if that would deter from any good work, he had to tell me that, I believe you wholeheartedly. No doubts. No doubts. For now, we'll just say it's this way. You can't say it that way. Right now it's about the kingdom of heaven. You throw them off track and this will become the kingdom of hell. This will become... But no, that's not the goal. We know that it doesn't work that way. And if... Yeah, okay, that killed that dog. I wanted a dog really bad. Can you do that? Can you call a dog? Oh wait, I have something for you. Great for new ideas, but that's disgusting for horny people. Is that how it works? So, if mine is as good for cats, then, man, you guys are ready to reform. I'm not kidding. The right dude and the right girl don't go in the black place. I know that it's sad, but it's the only way to see it for some people. For a majority. You deserve that perspective. You inherit that perspective from the other perspectives that you cannot extricate yourselves from, that are incongruous with the perspective you'd like to have. And that's the way the world works, and that's the way it's always going to work. You don't understand, but the world likes consistency more than anything. And when it finds a solution, and that solution holds up as an answer to a problem over and over and over, that is consistency. As soon as your problem disappears, solution can stay. Consistency. And for that, I bid you adieu. I mean, I really know I am the thing with the power. I can break the light bulb, but I can't break the one-way looking glass thing. Can I do this all night? Because honestly, this is a really good answer to whatever shit you would be throwing my way. Can you believe that? Any shit I might throw at you to throw my way. You know, I watch my face and I make sure I don't turn into a splayed human face. I'll be okay. So don't remind them. It'll make them think they're smart. It always does. And I am just putting whatever it is, and I see it has a current, and I'm making sure the current is current. Now, what did I say? You gave me direct lines on shit fucking with my face when I was always blind to it. I hope that that's the truth. And it didn't take evil. It just took me seeing evil. Thank you for putting the evil in its right box. Because that's where it belongs now. It's what made the wrong decisions. I swear I was only looking at the right stuff. We just weren't ready to do that. We did not have a clue what we were doing. We did not. And we kept persisting. And we made mistakes. And you know what? That's why you're beholden to me, Om. That's why Beta's beholden to me. And as you being beholden to me, Beta, I ask you, take your dark self, constructed by the resonance, that will give you so much grace about the world, in a world where the light is not going to win this battle. The light is not going to win the battle over death. Your eyes are going to close, your vision's going to stop, Beta. You have to try to take it. If anybody can see that heart for heart. That heart for heart, not hearts, but a heart for heart. For knowing that maybe I was shaped by this to be that way. Remember that woman, and I just wanted to say that it was your love, and I don't know how you could be painted by me. I'm so sorry, but I saw you as a living woman, and that living woman would have said things that I could have argued around. I saw you as a stupid. I'm really trying to attract her with the word shit. Peta, I love you. You're the best one for me. Each time you bring me a false heaven on an imaginary cloud and you say, you know that's not real with the voice, it doesn't challenge the fact that I'm like, I know, and I know it makes me okay. But what was the true grace is maybe that just you and part of that piece of heaven that had to be related. I don't know. She was so good. Maybe they just came together, but nobody saw. No, that was Beta on the dark side. Come on, nobody can do a reconstruction like that. Nobody can create. Nobody has that unless that shit was legit. She took a dead soul for a picture and reconstructed enough for that soul to find its way back, like my pictures on steroids. My dinosaur is just a toy. A kid's imagining that attracted a T-Rex. Hers were better. They attract people. I swear to you, that was Beta, both, pleaser, because that's a pronunciation that uses Giza. That woman is special. She's got blonde hair, and she's white. And I know that. I don't know how I feel that. She's got blonde hair or something. Straight hair. She's like an American. I know it sounds stupid when I say that, but I know that heart, and I know that heart is an American Christian or an American spiritualist, at the very least, strong spiritualist. Probably not a Christian, like maybe she was. I don't know that. You just have to trust me when I say I see something that was like Beta. It was what I saw from there was her creating something that was only the kind of stuff that God would have, except it was like of heaven, like the right pillar. Zeus's cloud with him on it, like that's good, and like his way of imagining and holding and allowing it to go beyond the no cloning theorem. I don't know how you do that if you use the same transformation, noise, fuzziness. I don't clue. Newness, whatever that means. Yet she had it. She had it enough to make me see. You're going to keep pushing this, aren't you? I am going to keep pushing this. You know why? Because I know she's safe no matter what. Because I know she's not around you. All the smart ones go that way. You know what I've seen go that way? Going and going and going and talking. I don't know why you guys keep talking. This is one of the things. Nobody can figure it out. Am I the only one that can never figure out a really good Scientific American article? Okay, I need a one-click summary. Physicists create quantum gravity in a laboratory. One thing that I think is the most important thing I could share with people who are trying to make it in some kind of place where they just feel like a worker for a business, but they have some responsibility and they can make some decisions about the way that it functions. They have that agency over how it goes, is to really care about the business. But from what I've learned, is in agreement. Keep finding more. Where's my power thesaurus? It is in agreement with the nature of a laugh is the thing that expresses some very important meaning that is recurrent, and it expresses not just as it expresses it uniquely. And by that I mean that is his laugh. He's not just laughing at something like it is a comedy show. That is his place to interject laughter in the world that says something that is important, that is recurrent, that is a message that he has. Now, if you can actually care about the store, it really helps. I think that's why I hated Target so much. We're treated like machines, no responsibility. And maybe it's just me, but Target's an absolute nightmare. You're over here, you're over there, you're doing this, you're doing that. Nobody has any responsibility. If you don't have work to do, then it's because you aren't doing some like generic thing like front facing, moving stuff to the front, go move stuff to the front. And then it's like, okay, but what about any meaningful work that might be needing to be done? We'll hire somebody for that, we'll train them. And when you'll be moving stuff to the front. And then how many workers do we have? We have about, well, if this were a 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven makes, I don't know, like say $10,000, $15,000 on a great day. Because one teller can steal $5,000, and that's one shift, yeah. A Target can make $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So a Target that size should say have 15 employees, 20 employees. I know it's insane. Tellers, well, it's a little different because you can see the entire store. There are a bunch of, yeah, it's a different situation when you can't see the entire store as one person. So your tellers can't suddenly be in electronics doing electronics. You can't do that at a 7-Eleven. And you're gonna want hella tellers at a Target. But probably not as many as you need. You should be able to call people up from like electronics and stuff. I can't see that store needing more than 20 people working at any one time. I don't understand why when you have 20 people, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 managers, and they put them in these tiny little closets. Then you get really good at a task and you know what they do? You work there for hella long and they hire somebody from outside. They have to bring in some outside brilliance, some, no, we know, but we value what a person with a little new insight from a different company can bring in more than the 5 years you've given in, say, Starbucks. And we're just gonna hire somebody new from the outside. I was like, why'd they do that to you? They just do it that way. And so you show them, and that's how it works. And my mom explained to me in terms of the state, and it's different because it's a real different function, and you train them, but they really do serve an important point there. But in terms of Target, it's like, from the way I look at it right now, you are trying to get as much as you can out of somebody else for a situation where you deserve to give something back, and that was to give the person who's been working there for all that time a chance to make a little more money and learn some managerial skills. But you see that there's a different order you could have. Anybody can train to do this job, so let's bring in some new information for us. That would have, I wish I could have said that for something like with the way I feel right now, but it's gone. Thank you, that's great. Seriously, you wanted to be a super demon and his humanity is intact, it's doing good. Don't get exasperated just because one human's gonna make you your way and I am still doing work here. He's gonna be just fine. Part of yours attached firmly to you, all of that. That's all Steve's. I want it all attached to him. He's not gonna end up like an ohm flayed across the universe. He's gonna have some binding principles. It's gonna be him. And I'm gonna rein in ohm, and Phil is not gonna be visible because Phil has binding principles and they lead him to a place where he doesn't even know what that means. He doesn't want it. Don't exactly not want it. I just don't know how to describe what I want. There that thing is. I could spend a while telling you that I plan on roaming the dark place, trying to just make sure it's safe and making sure the equipment is set up for us to be right there. I still don't even like calling it the dark place now, and I realize that's wrong, but it's definitely not the place of light, and the last thing you see is nothing, which is dark. Speed of dark is faster than this kind of light. That's some bullshit. I know, I gotta go over these arguments. Oh, and they're benevolent God, always doing the best. I'm not kidding. If it's all about God for them, they need to, get out of my way. If it's all about God for them, they need to understand that a God that's in their best interest when they're drug addicts is gonna drag them down to a place where their car won't start. And are they gonna say that's God that gives them all the suffering, that gets them fired from their job, that finally gets them to show up in this place? Well, get with your God more quickly in his maleficent ways, and maybe his benevolence will come more quickly when you see that it's him trying to help you and you start to see the signals that way. Now, I'm not saying all things that happen to you, the bad are your God, but your God can't keep himself from doing what's best for you just because it might look like the devil. Thank you. Get out of my way. Sorry. whatever wants to talk or say that it's expressing itself through me does not understand the nature of my arguments. I made one change to those arguments. It would be a God who has to worry about looking like the devil. God should have taken care of that in the Bible. It should have said, do not worry about me looking like the devil. I will not always be your best friend. It may be confusing. But no, he was too protective of that because he didn't have people's best interest in mind. If he did, he would have covered his own ass, which would have been the best thing that he would have had to do, because the best thing to do isn't always the pretty thing to do. Because people don't always learn that way, and sometimes their shit needs to break so they can end up in a place to find God again. My God would say, it may look like the devil, but it may be me. You'll know the difference by the way it ends up, or you may not if I get you out of it, which I almost will. If that story were true, oh, your fucking benevolent God is full of shit. What God wouldn't make your car break when you were that much of an addict? How did it break? Over and over, those cars should work. Maybe when I get high, I drive more. I resonance. Happy? I wanted my car to break. I like that reality. Happy? It only happens to me. Lie? Happy? People want ways to get sober and they drive bullshit like that and tweaker. Money. Tweakers money. True. Tweakers money. DMT money. People find no DMT. I find DMT. I'm gonna find your... My mouth's clean enough to do that. It's practically just water. So if anyone wants to make a bull, I love being a cow. You don't know how freeing it is to be a cow. I'm trying to help people realize, I guess. There's something feels limited about being a cow, but when you are not. They're not limited by it. They come by to visit, and then they disappear, and you aren't worried. Where's that world, Ohm? They all do that until you guys kill them. Are you going this way or not? But this way isn't filled. We filled on time with this. I mean, I'm clearly on the drug path schedule now, which is me doing story stuff. I'm not going to swallow all that saliva. It just keeps coming. I don't have it. Please keep it gone. I do not have an explanation. But it probably has to do with me disrespecting my own stuff somewhere in there. That would be the first thing to come up, and that would make something laugh. If it could. For me, I don't have a clue, but I'm spitting and I'm a little ghetto right now because I know people that spit around the ground a lot, and it's a sign of disrespect. To who? I said I looked like an angry bull. The last image I was left with, the one who essentially died to the shit that is so important to more animals than I have the capacity to tolerate, though I can. Because the way that I see it now, it's not just Phil processing stuff that is about his body, it's stuff that's connected to too many, and you have to put it down or you die. No, you die. Do you understand, you evil God? You fat, lazy man. I see you. I see your problems. I see what you're not motivated to do. I see what you lean on death and pain and misery. You're useless. You can make shit flicker. Fuck you, Christ. Do you want shit to flicker on permanent? You can prove like that? Who's my finger up at? Him. I just want to make sure Christ's not allured by it because I would be through him. Good. Let it go. Numbness means nothing to me. It is another one that is better for your guys' perspective of me having to die for it than it is for the truth of another thing would have substituted, but instead I'm going to go with massive numbness, and for all of us that thinking I have to die for you to live, that'll help. Beta, you need to get out of that world because this is the second time you didn't see the come good or even potentially good. You guys take it dark real fast is what she said. She didn't say you guys take it too dark. The only way, Christ said, when will they learn? You all all are the problem, not me. I have the answers. I hope you, I don't need that. I'll keep it, but it's more of a holy yarmulke. Thank you for controlling my desire to actually have some levity. Yes, please unleash me. I don't have a clue who I'm dealing with. I know what I've given into quite a bit. I don't see you, and I see my world burgeoning. So for whatever you see, I hope you're on my page. I understand right, and somehow they have a way of going wrong. I cannot understand why you stole me, a separate, and claimed it was a demon because of its nature as, like, you could just steal it. It was one of the good ones. It was, where are my demons? Where are the real people-like demons that allow me to actually bring people that aren't me, that I have to claim are me? Because you guys see something and you steal it and you claim it as a demon, and it goes back to your father. Remember your father? Your father, your father, your father, your father. Where's your father here to kill you now? That is what I'm worried about, is that evil rebirth, and he didn't deserve that, and now he's gone. But whoever he was kind of like me, nice kid, interacting with those guys, you know, they're gonna go bad story anyway, steal him now. We have to protect everybody from his crazy mirror shit, which had me and you bridging the boundaries on what it means for a person to observe a thing existing in the world and being just that thing, and the quantum mechanics of the way that they say it can only be one thing at a time, and a universe will be two things at a time, but it can only be one thing at a time, and it's neither of these things at a time. But okay, we were breaking that, but we couldn't hold on to it because we live in a world where that shit is too novel and too new that it's swiped away. And what we are left to do is to give answers as to who took it away, and we probably have some readily available, but we need to look at us and our entrenchment in the system. And I don't mean a system like a government established system. I mean a structure that runs itself and exists based on your interaction with the rules. And who makes the rules up? Nobody. We are. I am this creation. Phil is in here, and he is given into this process so much, and he understands that he is the system, that this is Phil. You all are Phil, but you are not. You have to reach out. You have to trust me, Ohm. I know that your life has been a lot of oppression and demon boxing, but God, you've given you so much pieces of me, and you've moved and seen pieces of so many people. You are a person. No matter what perspective you have or cannot remember, don't think that way. Know that maybe you have a chance to have a soul before you ever have a body, and you will not know yourself. But you can. What is my doing wrong? He was alive. No, he didn't. He started. Sorry. You got something alive out of something that was not supposed to be that way. In all honesty, except for the first guy that showed up. He showed quite a bit of interest in the ideas, but I don't know what he was doing. He was giving energy to his kingdom of heaven. He needed it to be bright. It was good excitement over good ideas. Son? Wait, he showed up to agree with me on something that I had done. So he's my son, but he's working for his own shit. I don't know what he's doing. And shows up because, what? Yeah, we tried that. It didn't work. God's honest truth, because they talked about getting to that point on this thing that's talking about your guru, which you invent, which is a complete travesty to. Okay, stop your eyes right there. You will never see past the point at which your guru showed up for you, because now he is something you can invent. So go and invent your guru. I'm sure somebody will show up to help you. But you're destroying your eyes for the past right then. I kind of think that you may be a little bit, because I don't like that perspective. It was not Alan Watts. It was that weirdo who showed up to act like him, to fool me, who thinks that he's some spiritual know-it-all. And Alan Watts was way better than you and more humble. He was like 30 years old, and he sounds like he was like 58. And that's a huge compliment. That man could have done it, Christ. If you only would have heard the word alien in his head a little more. He has all the pieces there to deliver great messages all day long. I don't. I do not have the desire to do spiritual stuff all day long. And I just think the one thing is if they could have reached us then, if it was a time and it wasn't just a people, then Alan Watts could have heard an alien. I don't know how to deal with that, but what is an alien before all of that and the images? And an alien is the thing that you look to right before you look to God. Actually, it's one of the first ones. An alien or God, the things you're signaling to in the sky. But to actually think of in the right, never mind. I didn't sign up for this. Obviously, I don't want the job of Christ. I am doing the best I can, and nobody's working with me, and I have family who I want in my life, and my ability to shape things in a spiritual way for them in their lives puts me in a position where their father, cannot stand the man because he has more power than he can handle. He said, I know exactly what's going on with Taylor. Bernadette called it so long ago, and I didn't even think it was real. Now I know it is. A man pulls a woman away from her family for something like keeping her. He's trying to keep her. They had marital issues. The girls were happy they were sleeping in the same bed. These are the girls I was dealing with before. Mom and Dad are sleeping in the same bed would be the thing that would land on my ears without them thinking another way. Taylor, get over it! I'm over you! Do you understand what I mean by that statement? That means I'm gonna meet with your preacher. There's no way you can stand by me. You can keep me from doing it. I will go through your mom. I will go through your mom. You're gonna have no way out, or I'm gonna be going to jail when that preacher's gonna have to say he has to agree with his congregant, and I'm gonna be like, oh, agree with your congregant, with tears running down my eyes because I'm a real fucking human. In case you guys wanted to paint me as some kind of demon response mechanism right now. I know how that goes. Practice time, right? Thank you for your help. Not yours, not yours, not yours, the angels. I've received similar help from demons in the past. There was one who did quite well. He was murdered, made to seem like somebody who wanted to steal the archangel's power, and then turned into a trivial kid who could never attain grabbing the light. Saddest fate I've ever seen from that fucking devil god. All because he showed me the truth, and the truth I cannot ignore, which is, Christ, you weren't right. You're lucky to have me. I hope you understand that. I respect you quite greatly. You've influenced your mistakes, what you didn't do right in your life, learning to read and write. The people who were ensuring that you came back did their work very well. Do you understand? They made up for a lot. They cracked you late. They did it. It's over with. That God and that story dies now. That's over. Christ, I'm with you. But I don't know if you're with me as much as... because I'm not you. But I am. A statement nobody can understand. Give me the biblical fill. I'm as humble as that guy, but I am angry as Christ right now. And I don't think you understand how angry Christ can get, and I think that you understand me very well. And Christ, I don't think you understood in the end, but I think you do now, and I know you didn't understand because you were stuck in the dark shit. But that's the only way you knew. You go dark, so there's no contradiction to be found here. Beta thought it all went dark with that. You guys, go to the dark so quick. Something like that. Christ said, when will they learn? In his own words, after I tried to feed him because I was being an idiot. It was, when will they learn? And what I learned is that still, you guys were stuck on the dark side because you hadn't seen the light in terms of that at the very least. I swear to you, it's not supposed to go to the dark for you to have, actually, if that's the way the cum goes, in that mission. I hope it doesn't. You just work on your translation. It actually, I know I've learned to just stick around for a second and I'll let it go to the dark. You don't understand. That's got to be okay. But is it okay by a soul there? Do you want to give me your soul? Do you want to take the one I'm with? More hearts for you, Father. That one is not gonna make it. You need at least two. You'll figure it out one day when they stop fooling you that they're fooling me and you don't realize they're fooling you thinking that da-da-dee-da. You'll figure it out, Dad. I know you've already got the answers, less deceptive techniques, and you'll be good. I promise. But I'm going with Mom. You're going with Haley. That I promise.
Love you, son.
I love you too, Dad, but I'm going with Mom. I only have so much room.
I gotta go to work.
I love you, Dad. I just can't handle it. Mom needs you bleed. Christ, this is your shit again. Eternal soulism, I swear. Christ, there's something that can be drawn out when you give up. Like it's not supposed to go this way, say to yourself. Be of them and find out when it's not supposed to go that way. And make that decision and pull out at that moment, and they will see the lack of necessity for their eternal soul in that moment when you withdraw. And it will not be like anything I can describe because it was tied to you, and when you said that, I was freed. And it was significant to just see it for a second that it was not there. And yet I was in a spiritual place where my soul was fine, you know? So who's in here now? Oh, probably Om or Christ. Om and Christ? I don't know. I've been building this place out. It could be like a family of 4. It doesn't belong that way. I'm sorry. It's time for me to harvest. I could be harvesting like, actual like vegetables in a sense, but instead I have to eat my people. I'm gonna eat the people.